Were you in my grade?
No, I was with James.
Okay, so you were a year below me.
I was a year below you guys.
So you might have been a novice then when you left.
Yeah. I left the partway through my beginning of my second year.
That makes sense then. That makes sense because I had just professed my vows, and it was like right in. I had professed my temporary vows, and 3 months later, I got dispensated and bounced.
Yeah,
I said I vowed to do this for the rest of my life, and then I said nah.
And then you're just like, actually thinking about it, nah.
Yeah.
No, it was
interesting. You were a novitiate.
Yeah. So, because I don't. The weird thing is, I do remember. This is actually a funny thing. I'm glad we're recording for this. Is that one of the few memories that I have from Cheshire? I remember James actually the first time that he had his cassock on. I didn't say this to his face, but at the time, like, he looks like a turtle. Like your first cassock, the neck was just so wide, and it looked like you would be like pulling your shoulders, and your collar would go like up to your nose. It was like he looks like he's like a turtle in a turtle shell. But I didn't want to say it because I knew it would be like uncharitable and mean, and I'm just like, I'm not that type of person. But now afterwards it's like, oh, this is something I need to tell him eventually, so that I can get it put on the internet for all of eternity.
Yeah,
I mean, for time and eternity, it's great.
Oh man,
James.
Well, that's also my posture too, like my natural walking posture. I walk really weird. I walk like Donald Trump. I walk like hunched up. It's something that I'm conscious about, but that's really funny. I'm sorry. In my head, it's just Turtle James. I would have found it funny then too. Like, I wouldn't have found it offensive because it's a funny image of like a turtle going to seminary.
Yeah.
Jacob, I really wonder if you left before or after me, because the thing is, when people left Cheshire, they just disappeared. Like, nobody said anything. There was no conversation about it. Right. So for all I know, I might have still been there for a month or two after you left, or vice versa. Who knows?
I was really told weird later that I actually, because I did do something. I actually wrote an open letter to the novice community, kind of explaining my thought process, everything like that. And I posted it up on the board. And when I came back, there was a little while after, there was a alumni retreat or something like that up at ICUS. And so I went up with Josh Fatzinger. We stopped by Cheshire as a pit stop. And a few of the brothers are just like, a few people who left afterwards did the same thing, that I started a little movement with that.
Oh, cool.
I did think it was the weirdest thing to be like, they just disappear.
Yeah.
And nothing, when they're like, no explanation, no nothing. And I always thought it was weirder is that the brothers would then be like, you try to tell some sort of story. Like, oh yeah, I remember one time at a hike, me and brother so-and-so, like, oh man, we shouldn't talk about him. Like,
yeah,
why not? He was part of the community then. And I consider him a friend still now. It's not dead. And if it was dead, it's like, oh, but people are going to speculate on why he left. Like, well, then he should have told us why he left. Like,
right.
The whole, especially when you're a novice, the whole part is to discernment. You're there to be like, do I want to do this? Yes or no? And if they say no, they're not dead to us. They might be dead to you, but to me, they're just like, oh, cool. He's going off and doing his own thing. It's all about God's will and what God called us to do. If God calls him elsewhere, good.
Well, when you left, did they do anything to try to get you back?
Actually, no.
Okay. So it was a peaceful transition.
Yeah. Because I was bouncing on and off about it for maybe about 2-3 months. I had Father Joseph Burke when I finally just because I straight up just said to him, it's I feel bad discerning leaving when I've had all these people supporting me this entire time. And Father Joseph said straight to my face, you were a wild card. He's like, Father David Steffi didn't even expect you to come back for the candidacy after you graduated. And then during the candidacy, Father Jason just I don't know, he could go one way or the other. He's a wild card. So the fact that you made it this far is a real true testament to you and your thought process on this. I'm just like, oh, Cool.
Did Father David? Did Father David ever tell you were a wild card?
No, Father David didn't tell me shit.
Oh my god! So this was all news. Everything.
Yeah,
was
all
brand
news.
new.
And for me, it was a great weight off my shoulders. It was like, oh, great. So people like weren't expecting me to go off and do something great with my life. They're just like, if he does, great. If not, cool.
Backhanded compliment.
Yeah,
I guess.
Man. That's funny.
That's I mean, that's good. That...
I wonder what you did that made people be like, he's not gonna last.
Well, that's the one thing. Is like, at least like looking back on like my time at the at ICUS and everything like that, it's like I always felt like I was like in limbo the entire time. Like there, as much as as all the brothers and stuff like that, they never said that they had favorites, but you could always tell that there were some people that were definitely, I hate to use, I'll use the word grooming for, higher positions and things like that. And I think I always felt like I was just kind of like, oh, that extra person who's there. He's like, yeah, Jacob, he's just there. He takes up space. He's nutty, he's crazy, but he's there for a good time. So yeah, I was there for a good time, not for a long time. So
you think that like your inner like way of seeing yourself was probably like others could see that too and be like, yeah, we'll be surprised if he stays, kind of thing.
Yeah, I want to say it was just that my own, not just like the way I saw myself, but also how I felt I was being seen. Like,
yeah,
I would definitely say, even though we're like a small group of people, you can't really have like the popular guys and the unpopular guys, but there were, definitely the guys who had more swagger or whatever you want to say, that people kind of just lean more towards to, like both of you, I would say, for your respective grades, were in that kind of group. And then of course, like Peter Martin, anybody who's good at sports, more or less. If you were good at sports, you were considered, at least from my point of view, you were considered cool. You had worth, because if I have Spencer Mosley on my team, I know we're going to do a decent job. But with me, it's just like with Jacob, who knows? Because sometimes I'd be really good, and other times I'd just be like shit. And then I'm just like, especially like basketball, I sucked at basketball, but with soccer, I was like, in Fabito, I was okay. Like
Fabito, I forgot they called it that. Yeah. I forgot they called it Fabito.
You had a foot though.
Yeah. I did. I was it. Like I had
you
that worth because
a loose cannon.
It would aim. I couldn't aim for shit. But
a wild card. It was a wild
card. Exactly, a wild card. Like I remember many times. I wouldn't say many times, but a few times playing basketball, like going up for a shot, and everybody on my court and the court over going no, as it goes off. Which direction? Like just like the entire half of the gym just screaming, "No, Jacob, pass it! You pass it!"
Would they actually say that though? Because charity was a big deal.
Yeah, I think we did to Jacob.
I know Mitch did. Like Mitch Marshall, he was big. Mitch's game was basketball. So there are plenty of times when he'd just be like, "No, you're on my team. You pass and you block. That's it. That's it." So, but I mean, I also know that there's like a 2-month stint where I was doing nothing but laps the entire time.
Yeah, I remember that.
I actually still technically, quote unquote, owe something like 2,000 laps around the gym for
on the Patreon.
Yeah, it was just that, because like time management is never my strong suit.
So did you join as a junior?
I did. Yeah,
okay.
I joined as a junior. I was only there for 2 years.
Okay. I think that's one of the reasons why you always were perceived as like the wild card or outcast, because that was a late time to join.
Yeah.
Not many people joined it for candidacy.
That's true.
Like they would only have like 3 candidates every summer program.
And like maybe one would join up.
And one would join, yeah. And it was never
that's I want to say it was me and
you
then
and Fat Singer.
JP, I want to say.
And
Fat
John
Singer,
Paul.
but he
was a great head.
Joined the senior year, I want to say.
Peter Lombardo, I think that was it.
Yeah.
That's all I can remember who joined as pre-candidates.
Abraham and Andrew Wong.
Oh, yeah.
They also joined.
That's right. But Andrew Wong was there as a ninth grader in the summer program.
Oh, right.
okay.
Yeah, he was, but he didn't come till he didn't come.
I don't think
he came back the second year.
Yeah.
And then
I wonder what Andrew's thought process was like his first summer program. Like he was like,
We were all
like,
terrified of him.
oh really?
I mean, yeah,
We didn't know that he was like a teddy bear. But he would always be flexing, and he had the biggest muscles to us in ninth grade.
Yeah, I mean, I think
We probably all had a crush on him.
Probably.
Yeah, he had the biggest muscles, I think, of the whole. Yeah, he was ripped.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember oh man, I hate throwing him under the bus, but I remember the one time during break period we had to explain to him that the word cute doesn't just mean small, because he kept on referring to his belly button as cute. So we all just lost our shit as we're just like, no. It's like pretzel's small, it's cute. Like, I mean, I guess it's like belly button's small, cute. We're like, no, that's just weird, bro.
Like, I am so cute. Yeah, my belly button's so cute.
Exactly, just like that. And just well, no. It's close, but
I love that kid.
Oh man.
They were all great, but yeah, sometimes teaching English was a real treat, because we didn't know what we were doing, and we had to teach them English, and then we had to teach them Spanish and Latin and Greek on top of that.
I mean,
poor
the fact
kids
that they were able to like
to absorb
keep it all exactly keep it all down was just amazing.
I mean, I almost lost it trying to learn Korean. I didn't learn Korean, but living there, like, just, it's a completely different language. So going from one to the other, I'm like, man, how did these kids do it? Like, imagine going to Korea and then learning Chinese and Japanese and Thai at the same time in Korean.
And like somebody who speaks Spanish has a broken Spanish accent, English accent.
Someone who speaks Chinese
trying to teach you Thai.
Trying to teach you Thai in Korean.
I mean, Father Victor didn't care. Like,
no, he didn't give a fuck.
Like, I remember going, because I'm signing up for community college. I remember taking in my high school like diploma, my high school grades. They're just, oh, you got all A's in Spanish. Like, no, man. The teacher would just look at my thing and be like, oh, haha, you don't know how to, because like I didn't grasp the whole, like, was it conjugation of the verbs?
Yeah.
So I would just use the infinitive on everything. And he's just like, oh, just like the natives do. Cool, you're my little native boy. I'm just like,
you would call him Indiano.
Oh my God. I remember the name was. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, my little native boy, whatever the group is.
Very culturally insensitive. Good,
A plus, B plus, A, perfect. I'm just like, great, thanks. So, apparently I got all A's in Spanish, but I could not speak a lick of it even afterwards. Like, in Cheshire, they put me on the Duolingo track. Like, I wasn't even in class. I was in the computer room doing Duolingo or Rosetta Stone or something like that, doing like an actual like personal program. It's like, you're so far gone. Like, you need personal tailored lessons just for you.
Oh, man. Well, I think Father Victor saw a little bit of himself in you, because that's what he was like when he was in, I don't know if you remember the stories, but he always used to say that he was failing out of like his classes, and one of his teachers took him aside and was like, Victor, you have to work hard. And he like started working hard after that. Do you remember that? Do either of you remember that?
No,
I don't remember him saying that.
No,
not at all.
That story at all.
Oh, he was doing poorly in classes, which is amazing to think.
Yeah. Like, I could totally see that. He did seem to be like the type of guy who would be like, when he was young, he was like, oh, I only cared about sports. And then I got older and realized I can't do well in sports. So I just put all my energy that I put into being good at sports into academics. And then boom, I know 6 languages and I can tell you everything about Beethoven and his life and have you sit down and watch all the videos about Beethoven because he's my favorite composer ever.
Oh,
what grade did Father Victor join? How old was he when he joined?
He was an apostolic, right?
I want to say yes to that, but
yeah, I want to say.
So he might have been with Maciel in Mexico.
He could have,
like in the beginning.
Maybe he was too old or too young for that. Too late for that.
Never
Yeah,
too late for Maciel.
Yeah,
18.
I want to say he was. If I remember correctly, he was saying that he. I could be talking my ass right now, but if I remember correctly, he said that he wasn't with like that first group, but he was like
Okay.
one or two generations. Like he was like one of the first, like the first like group of 10. But by that time, Maciel was off. I don't know,
Spain
or something.
In Spain, yeah, probably.
Yeah. And finding a second lifestyle already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Getting puss.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if Father Victor ever smashed some ass before he. That's why I'm asking. Like, if he wasn't old enough to be. I could kind of see him being a ladies' man prior to like joining.
No, I don't think.
You don't think so?
I mean, I could see that, but he was too young. He joined too young.
Yeah, I'd say you have enough. He definitely had a level of machismo about him that I think he could if he wanted to.
Right.
But he was a good man of the Lord. So
he's a good man of the Lord.
Yeah, and I would never slander his name. One of the few.
Yeah, one of the few.
Well, because he also like he did stuff for us that he didn't have to do. Like he got that telescope.
Yeah, that was the coolest.
I forgot about that, dude.
That telescope.
That thing was sick.
That was pretty tight.
Yeah.
And those cold New Hampshire skies.
Dude, New Hampshire. I will never see the stars like that again in my life, I don't think. Insane.
You go to the desert, but
yeah,
well, I'm on Mars right now, so
it's actually within a 5-hour drive for me to find that again. Never mind. But will I do it is the question. Probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only that, he was also the fastest. He was that fastest when saying mass. Like,
yeah, he buzzed through that thing.
15 minutes. You're just like,
yeah.
Someone let Chef know that we're going to be out of mass real fast. Like no diddle dallying. You know?
Especially if he does meditation too. He usually cut that shit early.
That was only Saturday though.
Yeah, fuck. I love Saturdays.
Those were the best.
Remember whenever Father Victor wasn't there on Saturday and we're like, God damn it, it's
like, what the fuck?
What is this horse shit?
We have to kneel for an extra 10 minutes.
Till like 10 o'clock. Shit.
Yeah, so it's
2 minutes.
I don't know. I think the telescope was one of the coolest things at Icus, and I feel like there was a bit of spirituality there in my atheist soul.
Yeah.
Just looking at the stars and being like, wow, this is it's unfathomable if you haven't just sat in front. I don't know what I'm talking about, but just without seeing it, it's like, oh
yeah. I would say it puts you in perspective, like without a doubt, being like, we are like minuscule compared to like the actual like size of the cosmos.
It's insane how small we are, man. Just like little bugs.
He's like, look at that dark spot right there. And you're like, what? He's like, no, just keep looking at it for about 20 minutes and your eyes will get used to it. And you keep staring at that dark spot. And then you realize, oh, there's a nebula there. Oh, there's like a star formation there that you couldn't see before, but you have to just keep staring. I don't know.
Or what if like your eyes just started playing tricks and creating something you wanted to see? Like, isn't that crazy to think about? Like,
I swear that was with some of the guys like Zach Greger or Joseph Myrna. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I can see." I'm like, "Bullshit! You can't see shit." If you look really hard, just sit there. Like, I'm not gonna be sitting here for 5 minutes just to see a faint ass star in the sky. Good.
Let me see it through the telescope, bitch.
Exactly. Pull the telescope, then I'll believe you. But other than that, you just want to sound superior.
I mean, just having a tracking telescope, though, I think is like, that was the most expensive thing we had at Icus. We only used it a few times, but
it's true.
So true. I wonder who has it now. I wonder if they sold it.
That's the big question. Oh, that would be that.
Yeah, they got to cover Maciel's lawsuits. I bet they sold that shit.
True. Yeah. As a straight package with the rest of the campus, get all these buildings and a brand new telescope.
If I ever won the lottery, I would go back and I'd buy Icus and make it a free living retreat center.
That'd be cool.
any ex legionaries can attend.
Yeah. As long as you're willing to shout Christ our King,
you have to
every morning.
You have to know the password, and the password is Christ our King, thy kingdom come.
While you're there, you might be put to work. You might be putting dirt in a wheelbarrow. We're not sure what'll happen.
We're gonna build the top field.
I mean, we might just start the Legion again.
might as well. I mean,
hey, we're all here.
We know that.
Ave Maria.
Just like buy all the statues again and everything, and have the insane rules.
Yeah, just bring it all back.
Oh, sorry, we can't talk to you. We're in section B.
Absolute. Oh, yeah, that too.
I was gonna say, like, how would you rebuild the stairs? Would you have the stairs with that top
step,
like being extra big, so you jump on it like 9 times
every
out of 10?
time?
Yep, and never fix it.
Oh, God.
Paint it instead.
Yeah,
just paint it instead. Yes, like we could spend our money to rebuild it, or you just have you repaint it.
And it wouldn't have been that expensive compared to a telescope. It would have been less than the telescope.
It would have been less than that.
The big thing for me is, why not just lop off that top, bring it down a little bit, and just have it on a small incline. Like, you don't have to replace all the steps, just that top step.
Yeah.
Just the top step.
I'm remembering now that hill to the right of the stairs we would use for sports, and I'm now thinking about that, how stupid that is. You're playing on a fucking incline. Yeah. You're trying to play frisbee football on an incline. Like, that was like, we had a top field. Why were we doing that?
The top field wasn't. There were times we couldn't use it.
Like when we were, because that seeds, might be what I'm remembering.
Crush the seeds, and got to wait for the grass to actually
take root. Yep.
Remember that well that was there?
Yeah, like the random fish farm well.
Yeah, there was
on the hill.
Where was this? On the top field?
No, on the hill.
There was on the left-hand
wooden
side
fixture.
Yeah,
there's like a wooden platform.
Every winter we'd try to put the ramp for the sledding on it, but we'd always get shut down because they don't want it to break and us just fall down the well in the middle of winter.
Yeah, that wouldn't be great.
I really just want to be no, set up a thing, because you could probably hit the building if you got enough air.
You could definitely make it to the top of the Thorndike.
Yeah,
we did do sledding, didn't we? We did some sledding.
Oh yeah.
We built I remember the skiing. Okay, I remember the skiing really well, but I don't remember the sledding too well.
What did we use?
Those sleds. Were they red? Were they red sleds?
Yeah,
I want to say the big kind
sleds.
Of. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember what they. That's weird. I remember the sled and what they looked like, but I don't remember actually sledding on it. That's weird.
Were you with us the one time when we got to go sled at the abandoned ski resort?
Yes.
I remember skiing at a nearly abandoned ski resort, but
no, I remember what you're talking. Yeah, I remember the one you're talking about. It was there were old trails and a cable car, but there was no cable, or there was no car or something.
Yeah. Weird. Yeah, there was cable but no car, and the one cable car house at the top is just completely dismantled and falling apart.
Yeah, we went.
You sled down that shit.
Yeah, because I remember because we
we
hiked up with the sleds and then we sled the way down.
Yeah, it was.
And I remember taking a wrong turn and going bombing down a black diamond in a sled straight down. I tore up my gloves because it was that time of year where you had the nice snow, a small layer of ice, and then more nice snow underneath. And so I was trying to slam my hand in, and I was just cutting through the ice with my hand as I'm trying to slow myself down, because there was no stopping. I'm I'm going to die at the end of this if I can't slow myself down. So I shredded up my my glove doing that. But yeah, I remember that was fun. Because we're all skiing, it's great, or sledding, and it was great. And then everyone's don't turn here. I'm just what? As I go down, that's a black diamond. Oh shit! What? Because it go and then just dipped. And it was just, and
it wasn't groomed.
No,
it wasn't. It was
giant ass rocks in the middle of
yeah,
it.
just
Like a
an
tree was
old.
partway down across it.
It's like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
There's like so much child endangerment that went on in that fucking
Yeah.
place.
And of course, like we're not wearing helmets or anything.
No,
like
we should have been wearing helmets. We definitely should have been wearing helmets.
Some people are probably in just their polos and khakis.
Like I remember us having to wear helmets to sled when we were over at like the cow farm next door. Yeah, we weren't wearing helmets that day, and luckily didn't die. No major injuries.
It could, yeah. I remember that was a fun hike too.
Yeah.
And then just going down and then remembering that, where's our wild card? Oh, he's not here.
He died.
He died.
He went forth for the good of mankind. Hopefully he'll show up eventually.
He saved some souls.
The best thing was I did get to the bottom first.
Yeah.
And everyone
I can believe that.
That was the first time you were on
time. There was like a group of guys who turned around earlier than everyone else. And they're like, how'd you get down so quickly? I'm like, oh, I actually took that black diamond and it just took me straight to the bottom. I'm down there with the bus driver. Shit, what was his name?
Oh, Doug?
Yeah,
No.
Doug.
Yeah.
With his orange
Yeah.
soda.
Did he have 7-Up
drink.
too? Did he ever have 7-Up or am
No.
I remember something weird? Yeah, I don't
He
know.
always had orange soda
And erotica.
Sorry.
He was
It was
reading
like
erotica.
Yeah, and it was like a 3-liter soda too, which is the weird thing for me. It's like I know it's like a 2 liter, but it's like a 3 liters, like extra big, extra thick,
Holy shit.
just right out of the bottle.
We're still talking
Yeah.
about soda?
Yeah.
I had
Extra
I'd
big,
never
extra
seen I'd never seen a 3-liter before until
No.
Doug
Doug.
blew our minds.
And the thing is, I don't think I've seen one since either.
I
I
haven't
have no
seen
idea
one
where he got
since.
them from.
Shaw's. They were the Shaw's brand. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay. And I'll gotta find myself a Shaw's.
Gotta find a Shaw's. Get that 3-liter. Oh man, that would last me a year. 3 liters of orange
Yeah.
soda.
Lasted Doug one trip.
6 hours.
Oh god.
Well, you visited his house, James. Jacob, were you there when that happened?
No.
What?
James, you talked about visiting Doug's house one time, like
No,
an
I never
accident. Some bus driver's house.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, it
That
wasn't
was,
Doug.
No, I remember someone telling us that story. I don't remember who it was.
Oh,
That
okay,
wasn't me
okay.
though.
That's a story I need to rehear because I want to say someone did. They just like showed up.
Was it
They're
Brian?
like abandoned
Brian
somewhere. They're
Gray?
just like, oh shit, wait, that's Doug. And they're like, oh shit, this is Doug's house.
Maybe that was Brian Gray. I'm remembering somebody told me the story. But
Yeah, I remember that. I vaguely remember that story now too. And he stopped off at like they just on the way, like, oh yeah, this is my house.
it's so fucking weird. He's
Maybe
like
he
one of
forgot
these
a book.
fucking.
Or-
I drive these fucks around enough. Why do I have to see them outside of work?
exactly.
Oh yeah, no,
Weird
the
guys
story's coming
singing
back,
weird
yeah.
songs.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. Anyway,
Do any of you know what happened to him? Because I know he just also just like stopped driving for us.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no idea what happened there.
I think they were trying to save money and they try to keep it in house,
Yeah.
but I don't. None of those
I
bus
heard
drivers
rumors
seem.
like he like legit like disappeared. Like he took his horse and like literally rode it to the sunset and just
Huh.
like
Couldn't have
didn't see
gotten
it
far.
again.
That horse would have died.
yeah. It looked like Santa Claus.
Yeah, because
He
he had a really big belly.
And a big
Yeah.
beard.
He had a big beard.
I felt so bad because like I really was a shit towards him because I would like because he liked to like ramble about shit. And so
Yeah.
I would just remember like the weird facts he'd tell us. And then I'd make sure to be really loud and say the same fact, but wrong, just to get him to start rambling, and nobody listened to him.
I remember you'd go say, "Hey, Doug, how's it going?" He was like, "All right." Like he never was like
Yeah.
super happy to see you.
All right. Yeah.
All
I was
Like, he just
I
gave
would
the bus.
target him. I would bully the bus driver by being like, so, here's a wrong fact. I'm going to say is right and be like, actually, back in blah, 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 blah. I remember him ranting for like 2 hours about Star Wars, which was interesting.
So he was nerdy. He was kind of nerdy. Interesting.
Yeah. He, at least when it came to Star Wars.
And his erotica.
Yeah.
Yeah, his cheap Walmart erotica.
Yeah.
Like Pulp Fiction.
The
that's
books
all it
were
was.
quite worn too. He'd read them several times.
I almost wish. I just want to like know the titles of them so I could read the Wikipedia articles on them. Just be like, okay, so this is what he brought on to, a childhood school bus.
7th graders were on the bus.
Yeah, he's
I think it was mostly like grandma porn fiction, like I mean like four grandmas. Like you read it and you're like, oh, the handsome young man grabbed the young woman, and it's like, ooh, what happened next?
It seemed like the pictures on the cover were pretty explicit, though. Yeah, okay. I'm remembering looking over his shoulder and being like, whoa.
Fatal attraction.
That's kind of a lot, Doug.
the silk, she's on the silk sheets, and the one silk sheet is just barely covering everything.
Yeah,
like, oh, wow.
You see a little nipple popping out.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah.
Now, is there any possibility that that's filtered through a lens of Icus?
Totally.
Not seeing, like,
it sticks out in my memory, but who knows?
Like now, would you find it provocative now, or would you be like, no, I don't, whatever, that's not even
PG?
I'd still be like, dude,
you see it on Instagram and you keep scrolling.
Exactly.
You wouldn't even think about it.
I might tap the heart and just keep scrolling.
Just to make sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Move on.
All right.
Okay, so I just wanted to check, because sometimes I feel like I see things like through a prism of the time that I spent, back then, whatever. But speaking of dangerous things, I was thinking the other day about how dangerous it was going to shower. Like when we would, after a hike or after recreation, the gallop and the storming of the
I'm surprised that no one like slipped, like cracked their head, and then was just trampled by everybody else. No one would give a shit.
Because you can't be late for showers, and you have to be quick.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I want to say it was with Viet that he was telling me one time after, it's like, you gotta hurry after, you gotta pick up your pace because I'm late to everything. So it's like, you gotta pick up your pace. I'm like, you see, I feel like you've seen these guys. You've seen them just run over. I told him, like, I will be trampled. I don't mind kicking it back a little bit and just let that rush go through, because some of the guys, they're cutthroat, and if I slip up, they're just gonna shank me and move on.
So you had a reputation for being late.
Oh yeah. He was
always
late.
Oh
yeah,
dude, I bet that reason alone made people think he's probably not going to last here.
Well,
because punctuality was huge.
Well, punctuality was so huge. Like,
yeah,
it was to the point where I was put in charge of ringing the bell as a novice in Cheshire, and that lasted for like a month and a half before they just be like, nope, sorry, you just can't cut it. Like, I'm the one with the watch, and I would just be like 2 seconds late, like every single time. And so I remember going to brother's office. I went to brother's office. Well, no, I went to father's office, and Father Joseph was just like, no more bell for you. We're gonna give it to someone else. Hand over your watch. I'm like, okay, cool. That sucks. Oh well. And then I got like 5 minutes later, I got called into brother's office, where he's like, hey, I just got off the phone with Father Andre, and he says you're not allowed to sing in chapel anymore. You're throwing everyone off with your bad pitch.
Oh my God.
I got kicked from my highest responsibility that I ever had in any community. And I was told I can't sing anymore because I'm throwing off everyone's chanting.
They cut out your basic human right.
Oh, by the way, the Pope called. He said you can't breathe anymore. Like, what the fuck?
I want to say you were a bass singer. Were you bass?
That was the thing. I guess I was bass because all the other kids didn't have their balls dropped yet, so I was the lowest one there.
Yep, that's true.
But I couldn't hit anything on key. I would technically be baritone. I found out later because I was able with Christopher O'Brien. He gave me some vocal lessons one time. He's like, you're technically in like the baritone section, so you're a little bit lower than a tenor, a little bit higher than a bass, but we don't have baritone, so you would be in one of those two places.
Yeah.
But he tried to help me sing because that's part of living in community is singing with everybody. But,
yeah.
Not you. You're not allowed.
Not
That's
you.
so funny.
Okay, cool.
That's
So,
such a
yeah.
huge fuck you for one day to get all that in one
Yeah.
piece.
That was it. Like both brother and father apologized because there was no communication at that point between the two of them. They didn't know that I just got like one rep.
That's better. That's imagine if they did
That is really-
communicate. They're
yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
let's
That's
guy
really
up.
just like yeah, because I almost broke down in brother's office. Brother's like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Well, father just told me I'm not to do the bell anymore, and you're telling me I can't sing." He's like, "Oh wow, this is a bad day for you." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to my cubicle and just like pretend
was
to read
your-
the Constitution or whatever."
Who was your superior? Your immediate superior.
Oh,
My
God.
immediate superior was Ryan Richardson. I believe he's father now. So
Yeah, I
brother
had
Ryan
him too,
Richardson.
I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah, he was cool. He's cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was real
Oh,
cool.
it's a bad day for you.
A bad day for you?
Like, dang, it's like straight up like that sounds rough, buddy. And I'm just gonna go and I want to say I like sat in the back of the chapel, just like
Oh,
Just
you're
like-
not, by the way, you're not allowed to sit in the chapel anymore. You
You just sit in the receptionist's office area.
yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember,
just sit there and just vibe out and be late for my next whatever it is because I don't care at the
I
moment.
don't have to ring the bell anymore either.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about anything.
Do you remember at Cheshire the how we had to like bring in wood for the wood furnace
Yeah.
every 5 minutes? It felt like that wasn't
Um,
fun.
No.
You're in like your cassock. No, actually, I think it was always like the end of PE. It was always
Yeah.
the end of some manual thing.
I remember doing it at the end of PE.
Recreation.
Yeah, end of recreation PE.
Mhm. It was always the novices. The humanities guys never had to, I don't think.
Yeah, but I also
Yeah.
think we're the only ones who really like were using the fireplaces the most because like
Mm.
they only did the fireplace for them in
Kitchen.
the kitchen and the like
Right.
the dining room. But for us, since our dorm was just a giant open ass area.
That sucked.
Um,
Yeah, it was always cold in there at night.
always cold.
I never slept well at night there.
Oh, brother
really?
Ryan though, he was the one who gave me the advice, and I use this to the day. He's like, what you do is you grab yourself you get permission to get a second blanket, and you wrap your mattress in the second blanket, and it sort of acts as a insulation between you and your mattress, because your
Yeah.
mattress most of the time is just empty air and spring, and so you heat up the blanket and you just keep it warm. So you just have two blankets,
Holy
and
shit!
you'll be good.
Genius.
And so yeah, I do the same thing. Like at wintertime, since I still live here at my parents' house, I live in the basement. It's just with like two of my walls are curtains.
Right.
So I have a pellet stove that keeps me warm, but every once in a while, if that dies in the middle of the night, I'm freezing. So
Where do you live?
Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. Okay.
So it's like it's not that bad, but I mean,
Yeah.
It gets
can
cold.
get down to like
I bet Maryland gets freezing. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's about 2-3 weeks where it does like get like down below zero.
Right.
But most of the time at night, it's like the 20s. So it's not that cold, but it's still just enough to be annoying.
Yeah.
So like I wrap my I got myself a nice army felt blanket, wrap my mattress in that, and then put my sheet over top of that, and boom, I'm set for the rest of the winter.
Yeah. That's awesome,
So-
man. Good trip. Tips
One
trips
life
and trips.
skill. One
Yeah.
life skill I got from
You got one.
Yeah, you got a
I
Boy
got
Scout
one.
thing.
got one.
It's interesting that we didn't learn anything that Boy Scouts have. Like I can't start a fire. I can't survive in the woods. Like I didn't learn. I mean, with a camp with all boys, you'd think they'd at least like teach you some survival skills or something. No.
Yeah,
no.
that's what I would think, especially if we're on hikes, because I remember
Right. Yeah, we have some
Justin talked about,
dangerous
like,
hikes.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, if you get lost in the woods,
You're
how are you
fucked.
going to survive? Like,
Yeah, I
you give
won't.
us no survivor skills.
Yeah, I'm in my polo and khaki pants. How long do
Yeah.
you think?
Do I have permission?
Exactly.
Do you have permission to starve, brother?
Yeah, brother.
Brother.
Do you remember we were talking? We would
Father
always talk
Bayeras.
about Father Bayeras. Yeah, do you remember him?
We bring up
Those
every
little
podcast
trips he would take. He'd always go, brother.
I want to say yes.
now. Oh, hey, how you doing, brother?
Are you?
He
He'd
was-
like.
Short, portly
Yeah.
guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd always
Crazy.
like go into he'd always like show us his pictures of some adventure that wasn't
Yeah.
an adventure.
Yeah. He would just like show up out of the blue one day. We're just like, oh, sweet. He shows up perfect after
Yeah.
any activity after dinner. Gonna be different. We're gonna have a talk from Father Baez.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, I guess when Baera showed up, like whoever was in charge, like David Steffi, I guess would just call the guy who was our band instructor and must have just been like, hey, Baera's is here.
No, he wouldn't.
You
He
don't
wouldn't
need to
call
come in
him.
today.
He would wait for him to show up and then
No,
be like,
you're kidding me.
no, because he would show up all the time.
Be like,
That's so
he
fucked
would,
up.
yeah. Be like, hey Doc, what's up? And just like, oh,
Yeah, we're not
He'd
needed
just
tonight.
be like, he'd just give us a little wave, be like, pretend I'm not here, gentlemen, and he'd walk away or something.
That's so fucked up. I can't believe he had to get in the freezing cold and drive all the way over just to get that.
I don't know if it happened every time, but I do know it happened at least once.
Yeah, doesn't surprise
But
me.
still,
yeah. That doesn't surprise me whatsoever. That fits in exactly with the way stuff
The
works.
MO. Yeah.
I wish he was still alive. I would ask him what he really thought.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But well, I had a dream I met Chef Glenn.
How'd it go?
Yeah.
and he didn't recognize me in my dream, and I'm like, fuck.
That sucks.
Yeah, it did.
Did you work with him when you were in
Yeah.
charge of the kitchen for 3 years?
For 3 years. It felt like 3 years.
Do you remember that, Jacob? He had to do like every meal.
You remember
Yeah.
when the meals were awful?
I mean, I always felt like I'm just like, oh, I was very happy not to have your job.
Yeah.
Because again, being the wild card type person, like I never got any sort of like responsibility to do anything.
Yeah.
Well, wait, no. My senior year, I was put in charge of like getting all the sports equipment
Okay.
out. But again, since I was slow, Mitch Marcello, who was my like the second guy in charge, he would always take care of it anyway because it was always basketball. So it was basketball, he'd be like all over the basketball. So I'm just like, dude, let me do my job. I'm like 2 minutes late, cool, but like
So
you guys are all running laps to warm up anyway. I just
Right.
put out the basketballs one at each court and I start my laps. Like you don't need to, worry about the basketballs. I got it.
I got this.
Like this is the only responsibility I have ever. Just let me do it. You can let go of your precious leather ball for 2 extra minutes.
Oh, that's sad. Because I honestly I don't remember you being in charge of the balls, and I think that's why.
Yeah, that's probably why. It's just like, yeah, I'm the wild card. Like, no responsibility. I'm just there
Jacob
for the good
Wildcard.
Jacob Watkins. Hey, brother, could you sweep this hallway?
time.
And like
Sure.
be like, okay, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got nothing better to do. I'll do it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But actually, no, there was one time I was in charge of the dorm. I was able to get all the apostolics to fear me because I knew where everyone slept. And I let them know that I knew that. Like, I'm just
Wait,
like,
what?
yeah, because like when you're in charge of the dorm, you had to like sweep the entire dorm, the
Right.
whole like 100 yards and stuff like that. So whenever I was in like the in-between kitchen staff, when you had to like shell out food to the kids.
Middleman.
Yeah, middleman. So when I was middleman, when any apostolic would come up, be like, oh, I want more. I'd be like, no, I gave you and your table your portions. Like I have entire other people to feed. It's like, but brothers, they try to sneak and like, don't try to sneak anything. I know you're asleep. It's like, no, you don't. I'm like, let me think. And I would think back, like, yeah, you're 1, 2, 3, you're 4, beds away from the bathroom on the right-hand side. I'd be like, I got it right for like 2 kids, but that was enough to put fear in all of them. Like, I know where you sleep. I can
That's
find you in the middle of the
amazing.
night after everyone's asleep, and I'll get you. And then
Oh
and they
my
didn't
God.
steal from me because I knew where they slept.
You threaten them.
I did. Looking back, it's kind of
Fuck
awkward
those
being
kids.
being a 17-year-old kid, being like, yo, 11-year-old,
I'll
12-year-old.
fuck you up.
I know
Hey,
where you sleep,
Maciel would have been
kid.
proud of you. you were following his way.
Little did I know I was
Yeah.
the right person for the job.
You were so close.
So close.
I remember one time in the dorms, I don't think I've shared this story, but I remember very vividly waking up. I had to sneeze really bad, so I leaned to the right and just, this sneeze was unlike any sneeze I've ever had in my life. Stuff went everywhere out of and launched projectile. And poor Joe Zuniga, he's right to the right of me, and I hit him square in the face with this sneeze. And he just wakes up and goes, "Oh my God." He's like, dude. He just rolls over and goes back to bed.
Oh, that's so mean.
Yeah, it was so fucked up.
Terrible. That is terrible.
It's really bad.
One time in the dorms, actually, the first day the Koreans were there, I don't know if you heard the story, but Jacob's probably heard it. So this was in 9th grade for me. We woke up and I realized, oh, they're Koreans here, because we heard they were going to be coming in, and I heard them come in the night before, late. So I'm looking around and I see a few of them, but I'm you're playing it cool because you're in silence and everything.
Yeah.
But then one of them goes. I hear him just kind of growl and go like, "Oh," and not like, no, just like sighing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like, and then another Korean got up and looked around, put his sandals on, walks over, slapped that Korean, and then ran back into his bed and ducked under the covers.
This does sound familiar. I want to know. I do remember you telling this before.
It was Daniel So had gotten up in the like 20 minutes before we woke up, or like 30 minutes before we woke up. And he sized up the situation, figured out who it was, walked over and just smacked him, and then went back to bed. And he jumped and he went under his sheets and so quickly that Thomas sat up and was like, oh, and I'm pretty sure he cursed in Korean and said some things, but I don't remember because I wasn't really fluent back then.
Yeah.
And then he just looked around and he was like, what? He just never figured it out.
That's actually one thing I've thought a lot, is like, how often did they actually swear in Korean and none of us knew, just because we didn't know Korean?
Yeah.
I learned
Probably
the
a
curses
quite a
pretty
bit.
quickly.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Like at the apostolic school?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know some of the people did, and I wanted to be on the end. I'm like, oh, let me know. I want to know these. I was like, oh no, we can't tell you. We're gonna be complicit. Like, just tell me, man. I don't know how to swear. Let me swear.
I figured one out from following.
Get my haircut from a brother. You can tell me this.
There was one Korean who was really nuts. He didn't make it long. He was not a wild card. He was like a 2. Poor kid. But he was always cursing. So that's how I knew all the curses. And then one time the Koreans were teaching us how to count. And when they got to 18, 18 sounds like a curse in Korean, but number 18. So I was like, wait, isn't this a curse? And they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, oh, I know things.
I drink and I know things.
That's all you need in life. Drink and know things. What else? What more do you need in life than stiff drinking knowledge?
Okay, so I wanted to ask another question. Jacob, while we have you on, what was your fondest memory? This is a really open question, but like, if you could pick something, it could be a moment, it could be a day, it could be whatever, or something we did. Do you have anything in your mind that just sticks out?
I would have to say reaching the top of Mount Musalaki for the first time. If you guys remember that mountain, it looked it
was
like
Scotland.
Yeah, it looks like Scotland. It looks like the Highlands. So like you hike up, and then like the last like 2,000 feet or 200 feet of elevation, it's just like highlands. So you're going, it's like these short pine trees I usually see, and it just stops. It's nothing but like alpine grass, just as long as I can see. I remember that, and just like looking around being like, this is beautiful. This is like, I want to like do like a big photo shoot out there sometime, like helicopter, like a model in or something like that, have them drop down, and because it's just gorgeous up there.
Yeah.
I would say that would probably be one of my fondest. And I want to say there's like, because like my backstory for me is like, I was homeschooled a lot of like all the way up to going to ICAS. So one of my reasons for like actually going to ICAS was like, hey, I get to have friends, because being homeschooled in my town, there's like only 2 kids who lived on my block. One of them was the grandchild of the person who lived there, so they were only there like some of the time, and the other kid was a complete douche canoe, and he was just a bitch of a kid, and he wasn't quite my age either, and so my mom didn't like me hanging out with him at all. She thought he'd be a bad influence, so I didn't really have any friends. So like going to Icus, a lot of the moments that I think fondly of is just us being guys and having fun, and it was just like, oh, I had friends. I felt like the actual companionship probably for like the first time like really ever in my life.
Yeah,
so like
I totally relate to that too, man. Yeah,
so yeah, I would say that would be my fondest memories, would be those moments where, you know, snowball fight, or just on a hike, or sitting around the one of the tables in the dining room, just laughing our butts off at whatever funny joke that someone heard from their parents over the phone the day before. Yeah, but yeah, if I would have to pinpoint one, I would say Musalaki, and also just a lot of the tops of the mountains. I was a slow hiker, but getting to the top of the mountains was always just breathtaking. It was just beautiful.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
I think that's something that everyone kind of agrees on. The hiking was the best. Like, we all hated it in some way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or dreaded it, or, you know, whatever it would be, whether it's physical or emotional. But
remember, don't talk to your other hike groups.
Don't talk to
your hike group. And if your hike group leaves you behind and just like pushes forward, you can't talk to anybody else around you.
Yep. That was your fate.
That was my fate.
Silent hikes.
I've had so
around
many
people.
Exactly.
Surrounded by brothers.
The worst thing is that there would be some times when people would forget that I'm not in their hike group, so they'd start talking to me, and then like one person would be like, "Oh wait, he's not in our hike group." Boom, shut off conversation. Never just like, "Oh come on, guys, I had you going for at least half an hour here, just a little bit longer." But nope, cut off.
I bet I was that guy. Like, I was a dick.
I mean, it was the norm. Everyone was it, and there'd be like some guys who got to give you the whole like sorry shrug, but they didn't want to be ostracized or reprimanded for it. So
they're team balanced.
Yeah, they don't want to get balanced.
Fuck that. Yeah.
So
yeah, we were like, it really was like North Korea, where you didn't dare do something different. You wouldn't get killed, so I guess it wasn't the same. But
you'd get lampooned during team balance.
You get lampooned, and that was
lampoon is true.
Some would argue that that's a worse fate than death,
or even worse. They bring it up during directives.
Oh,
like it would work up the food chain to Father David, and then Father David would be like, "Guys, don't do this anymore." And like, oh shoot, he's talking directly to me.
Yeah,
but he's saying it to you guys type of manner.
Directively to me.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a little pun.
Directives could be fun or scary. I just remember Father David pacing in front of that big picture of the sun in his face, and just he'd be pacing, walking back and forth, talking. He'd look into everybody's eyes very sternly and coldly. Like, he just had this air of like, I own this bitch.
Yeah. And that's the best thing, is that it was like, he also knew that like he could say something in a lighthearted way and be really great. But we all knew we really fucked up when he was like, no laughing, no jokes whatsoever.
Yeah.
And if we start laughing, he's like, "You're laughing at this?" You're just like, "Oh shit. Okay, let's just sit here. You just gotta take it. Take notes and just take it, because he's pissed at us for
he's not in a good mood
being children."
I just remember him. I remember Father Stephen telling. I overheard part of a conversation between Father Stephen and Father David. Father Stephen was talking about how he was trying to lose weight by like not eating when he didn't feel like it. Like, he was explaining his kind of diet as like. And then I just remember Father David making fun of him for that. He's like, that's not. He's like, I bet you. Yeah, it feels like you're eating quite a bit right now. Like, and then he just starts laughing, and Father Stephen was like blushing and not happy at all. I think Father David was kind of a bully, like low key or high key. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he also kept his his priest in a line.
Yeah,
Mm,
I think so.
I
But
agree.
I don't know.
Reported to Maciel if he didn't like something. Who did he report to? The territorial director? He
Yeah.
must have. Which was
Yeah.
Bertka, I guess, right? At the
yeah,
time?
until
Yeah.
they switched with what was his name?
Eduardo? No.
Father Juan?
Bannon?
No. Father Bannon was before Father Burka.
Okay.
It was the guy who had he had a soft voice.
I know he's Hispanic, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think he's from Venezuela.
Shit, what was his name?
Yeah.
Father.
I don't
He was my
remember.
novice instructor. No, he wasn't my novice.
Yeah, he might have been.
He might have been
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he was
briefly
yeah,
my novice
yeah,
instructor.
it was probably for your first year.
I keep thinking Father James, but it wasn't Father James.
No, I can't remember
It
either.
was like Juan.
He had a really thick accent, really
Yeah.
thick. Yeah, I was like, what is he saying?
Yeah, I remember he did our spiritual exercises one year.
He was very boring when it came to stuff like that. Extremely boring.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, very
Everyone's
dry.
like, I love him so
So
much.
dry.
He's so spiritual. But like,
Yeah,
but he's boring.
he's boring as hell, man. I'm trying to think of who Father Justin. I think Father Justin excelled when he gave us like images to think about or something
Mhm.
like that. Like he was good at that part, but whenever he got into the nitty gritty of like ethics and morality, he really started to drag.
Yeah.
Father Stephen was rough. I'm gonna be honest. Father Stevens never did anything for me, like when he guided meditations.
Yeah, it was very formulaic to me.
Yeah, I don't even remember it. Like I can't remember one sentence.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
anything.
Same. I was just like I would always think like, did he give us meditations?
Yeah,
And then
he
I'm
definitely did.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
he
remember.
did.
I
He
remember
did.
sitting there in the
And he'd always
pew
have
and
one hand. Remember, there was that divider between the two rooms, and he'd have his hand. Like if we had to go downstairs, and we'd kneel on the goddamn like fucking tile floor on in the classrooms, and then there'd be this divider, and he's in the divider kneeling down facing the divider, and he'd have his hand. Father Stephen always, that was his MO, was to have one hand planted firmly on that divider as he's kneeling, and he'd have his head bowed slightly as he's talking. He got real into it, but it was very boring.
I totally forgot we did meditation down in our classrooms.
Yeah, I forgot that
Yeah,
too.
that sucked.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
The chapel at least had kneelers that sucked.
Yeah.
The kneelers felt like wood. They were so worn down.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I remember eventually just popping a squat at my desk. I'm just you're sitting on the edge.
Cheating.
Exactly. So it's like, oh no, I'm still kneeling, but I'm just getting all the weight off my knees because
twisting your feet so that you could twist your feet a certain way, and then you would shift the weight off your kneecaps.
Yeah.
It was
remember in Cheshire
maybe that's why our kneecaps are so busted.
Yeah, they're so fucked up.
Yeah.
My knees hurt. My knees always hurt right now.
But we're also getting older too.
No, we're not. I'm not turning 30 this year, please.
I am not turning 30 this year. Yeah, you're not. Okay. Spencer's already 33, so
yeah, Jesus is about to die.
Jesus' age.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're gonna get crucified over this.
We should have been wearing knee pads.
Yeah.
That would have been funny, but also it would have been cool.
It would have been effective too.
It would have worked. I would have knelt longer.
I mean, or at least gotten I don't understand why just go out to Home Depot and get one of those kneeling pads that your mother uses when she's gardening and stuff like that.
Yeah,
those are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
And boom, perfect. You pull those out, you can kneel for a lot longer if you're not killing
Even
your
cardboard, even a piece of cardboard would have been good.
Something that's not cold tile.
Yeah. It was especially bad in Cheshire because everybody took the front row in adoration. And then, so that front row closest to the middle aisle was just wood at that point because everybody had been shifting their knees around to where any bit of padding was gone. So Cheshire's kneelers were much worse than I guess, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing positive about
They
them.
were riveted in the front. They had the little the valleys.
Yeah, the little peaks and valleys.
I mean, it really didn't bother the rest of us because we weren't the ones sitting up there for mass. I always felt bad for the shorter brothers who were in the front and they get back all the time.
They also had
24/7.
less weight on they have less weight on their knees, so they
for the Tamsin.
Yeah.
Always up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you what else? We're just switching topics quickly. Do you feel like you could ever relive that life without being able to access art or express yourself the way you can now? If someone said, here's $25,000, do it for 3 months.
I think I probably could, just because I got around it while at Cheshire. There were in the computer lab at Cheshire, there were 3 computers that had Photoshop on it.
Oh.
And it was the ones, the brothers, because there would be a few brothers who were like in charge of taking photos, which is the job I always wanted. Like once I found out that was a job, like even before I even knew I was going to photograph, like, oh, that sounds like an awesome job. You just have the camera, you could take photos, yeah, awesome job to have. Never got to that job. Oh well. But there was Photoshop there. So they would upload all their photos onto those computers. So there were a few times when I went in and just spent like 2-3 times making my own like collage. Like there was like a photo of like a monstrance, and then like I made like a whole, I might still
That's
have
awesome.
it. It's like a really cheesy-ish, like, live, like it was like some quote of like, live the sacrifice that he had or something like that. It was like I was making some like inspirational type thing. But yeah, no,
Viva Cristo Rey.
yeah, it was that across the bottom. And so yeah, so it was a weird thing, is like I found out what computers had it on there. So like there would be times when one of the brothers, I want to say somebody noticed and asked me about it, because they noticed that I would go into the computer lab often, and if one of those 3 computers was taken, I'd just turn around and leave, because like I'm only going there to mess around in Photoshop. Like that's the only reason I was there. And then one time, brother, just like there were like 5 empty computers. Why you just like go in and leave? Like, oh, because I want those computers because they have Photoshop. I want to use Photoshop. And they're like, oh, well, you're not supposed to have access to Photoshop. I'm like, I know that, so don't tell anybody. But I can, and I'm having a good time with it. And because I want to say brother Ryan finally found out, and so he asked me, and so I showed him. He gave me a flash drive. I like, here are the little posters I'm making. It's like, oh, those are neat. And I think he like printed one out and hung it up for like Lent or something like that, because it's like one about Lent.
Is he still in the Legion?
As far as I know, yes.
I feel like he's one that would be happy outside of it.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would. He'd be a good priest.
I guess he can go either way. He seemed pretty happy there too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So would I like? Could I do it also? Like, if it's a limited time and the money was good, yeah, I could easily do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think about it often, being like, dang, like I really had no responsibilities there. Like I didn't have to worry about anything. I was fed. So like it's one of those things, just like my mom, like I always talk about, like I make some joke about shoplifting, or like I don't care if I end up in jail because it's just like Cheshire, just with guards.
Yeah.
Like boom, monk lifestyle. I get, I'm in my cell for a few hours. I get outside for 15 minutes.
It's basically spiritual exercises.
Exactly.
You just quiet a lot. Yeah.
Exactly.
Quiet.
And I may get like, I would say there's still equivalent of like getting possibly raped, who knows?
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah,
I guess that worked. That worked in and outside.
Yeah.
That was in the Legion too.
It's maybe a little bit, a little bit more in prison, but like
might be
I won't get
you don't age out of it in prison though. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's true.
So, but yeah, then my mom just says, no, you're too pretty for prison. And then I'm just like, okay, sure. If you think so, Mom, thanks.
You think so? Well, that's heartwarming.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that you were able to find your calling almost in Cheshire.
Yeah.
By disobeying God's will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was me being my wild card.
Yeah. Wildcard Jacob.
Wildcard Jacob.
doing who knows what. Get into this trouble, this, that, and the other thing. Like I got playing soccer one time. I got an argument with brother about offsides rule, and then but then later I found there was actually a rule book for soccer in the library, like for the novice library. So I read that like cover to cover. And so next time, like I was goalie again, they're like, "Oh, this is offside." It's like, "No, it's not offside." It's like, "Brother, what do you think?" I'm like, "Brother, in the rules." I like quoted like the actual thing. It's like, "That's not true." I'm just like, boom, here. And I'm like, literally just like, you remember? So I think they took it out after that because just like, you shouldn't be arguing with brother. I'm just like, I'm not arguing with brother.
I'm right.
They say I don't know what the rules are. I'm quoting you the rules.
Offsides was one of those, like we were supposed to call our own fouls, but offsides is one of those where people didn't really hesitate to call you out on it. Like they'd be like, "No, he was offsides." It's like, wait, I'm supposed to call that, aren't I? You're
supposed to call your own, and then because offsides, if someone's offsides, they want to be offsides most of the time, and so like the only person who could call offsides was like brother or the goalie,
right?
And then if the goalie was not on the same team as brother, most of the time, at least from my experience, is that they were called, "Oh, no, he was onside." I'm just like, saying that, brother, because you want to win, or are you saying that because that's actually true?
I have a hunch.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, it now like looking back at it, I want to say probably because I had so much fun just messing around at Photoshop at Cheshire was probably gave me the inclination to be like, "Oh yeah, that was a job at Cheshire I wanted to do. Now I can take a class for it." And that's probably then put me on this path that I'm on today.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, God did show me the path he wanted me to take. Just in the most roundabout way possible.
Just by telling you not to do it.
Exactly. Like this Jacob guy, how can I get him to do what I want? By telling him not to do it. Reverse psychology. He's a simple man with simple needs.
We can figure him out.